Hello, it's Adam Morrison. When it comes to top-tier contracting, my go-to choice is McGilvery Environmental. I know a thing or two about excellence, and that's exactly what you'll find with Kip McGilvery and his team. They're not just any contractor, they're the best in Spokane and North Idaho. From start to finish, they ensure your project is completed with the highest quality results. With years of experience and expertise, they handle it all. New construction, meticulous repairs, asphalt paving for residential and commercial properties, excavation, and even environmental remediation. So why wait? Reach out to Kip McGilvery Environmental today by calling 208-556-6384 for your free estimate. Don't forget to mention my name, Adam Morrison, and experience the difference McGilvery Environmental brings to the table. Again, that's 208-556-6384, McGilvery Environmental, my number one choice for all my contracting needs. We're very excited to announce a new partner to the Perimeter Podcast, M4 CPA. M4 CPA is a family-owned accounting firm passionate about helping businesses and their owners create a secure future for their families. They pride themselves on the quality of their work and put their clients first, ensuring they get the attention and care they deserve. Their mission is to provide exceptional accounting services to help you achieve your financial goals. M4 CPA is all about building long-term relationships based on trust, integrity, and transparency. With a team of experienced professionals, they offer personalized solutions to meet your needs. If you're a Perimeter listener, here's an exclusive offer for you. Mention the Perimeter Podcast when you reach out to M4 CPA and get a free business consultation to assess your financial strategies. So, if you're looking for an accounting firm that truly cares about your business, trust M4 CPA. They're in your corner every step of the way. M4 CPA, accounting you can trust with a personal touch. Learn more at m4cpa.com. Back, Season 5, Episode 2 of The Perimeter, sponsored by McGilvery Environmental, Idaho Central Credit Union, and M4 CPA. Got one of my favorite guests on. My partner who does the radio, Tom Hudson. How many years has it been?
Man, how about 24 for me?
24 years.
Isn't
Holy
that crazy?
Shnikes.
Boy, you, man, when I first saw you, you didn't have any facial hair.
Yeah, no shit.
Right?
That's a good one.
I
I
mean,
was
like,
probably a buck
isn't that
85.
crazy, maybe, yep.
Still getting buckets, though, right?
Yeah, you get a lot of buckets. You got a ton of buckets. But, yeah, and somebody was asking me how long you've been with me, and we always get in this conversation. You're always like, oh, it's like my fourth year. But, yeah, I think you might be in 8 or 9 now. Right? I think 18 is when you started.
Yeah. No, so, yes, 8. This will be 8, I think, which is crazy.
Yeah. I know,
I always
right?
say,
That's my
I always
whole
say,
point,
I think about
right?
5, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know.
Huh.
I know.
So, yeah, it's been a good ride so far.
Yeah.
Again, the reason I like having you at the start of the show, and everybody knows this, or the start of the season, is you kind of are more in tune with the roster.
Mhm.
I like to coattail off you just like I do on the air. You know what I mean? But it gives people a good sense of the new guys. And then you have a good feel on, how our conference is going. And then, to be honest with you, I'm not looking up like how Portland's going to be this year.
Yeah,
you probably at least have one little.
Yet.
You probably have one like glance of,
right.
Hey, let's see how the bottom half of the league is going to be this year. And so anyway, first impressions. We went over our first episode of craziness, and it doesn't have to be long thought out because it's always kind of, I say it on the air, it's like, well, how do you judge it?
Yeah.
Unless somebody looks really shitty, that's the only time I take something from it.
Right. If you're like, okay, he doesn't look the part.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, I think it was pretty solid. I think the other thing you have to look at, look at Steele.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Steele was
That was
super
the best
aggressive,
part.
which was awesome to see, you know, and he looked really comfortable, getting a couple of pull-ups, almost looked like you a couple times,
Yeah, no, 100%.
faking that 3 and getting into that little pull-up.
Mhm.
So, like, that was awesome to see,
Yeah.
Now, is that the Steele we're going to see all year? To your point of how much do you take out of it? I mean, Steele's probably not going to be quite as aggressive because we're going to be throwing the ball inside a lot and doing some of those things. Or I shouldn't say quite as aggressive, maybe not get quite as many shots, right?
Yeah.
But he looked fantastic. And yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think that was the best part for me was to watch him come out and we keep talking like, hey, we're going to have to give him some time. He's going to have to figure it out. But, you looked at the way he was going
moving,
and he moved well. And then I think too, Mo, size.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one for me is usually when you talk about size, kind of people will be like, oh, okay, well, Braden and Graham and, and Izzo. And well, no, size is everywhere on the floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, all of a sudden, you look out on the perimeter. I mean, Adam Miller That's 6'3", 200 pounds of solid
yes.
muscle. Like that's a big kid,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so I think some of those other new kids are big. I think Steele sneakily, we haven't really seen him on the floor. Steele's a good sized kid. Like he's got a good body, right? I think that kind of jumped out at me a little bit was, with Ryan the last couple of years being a little bit undersized to the point of obviously he can play and did a great job. And then Nolan, you look at
we had
him,
two undersized guards.
Two undersized guards, right?
Yeah, we did.
And now you look at some of these guys and you're like, okay. And that kind of jumped out at me. It's like, our guards and our wings looked pretty big.
Yeah, I thought the pace was good. Obviously it's hard when you're going against the same guys and you're running the same sets all deal. And again, it's, you look at it with a grain of salt. We've had guys had great craziness in the kennels. I remember, I think my junior year, I didn't play very good. I didn't really give a shit. I meant that in a nice way, but I was just kind of like, all right, don't get hurt.
Yeah.
I know how it's going to go, blah, blah, blah. So you can take it either way. To go off what you're saying, though, about Steele, just the way he moved, even if it wasn't making shots, I was like, okay, he moved good.
Yep.
And again, I'm going to say it all year, and I've said it on our broadcast. Please be patient with him, because of there's 2 major surgeries back to back. And that's not like a pity thing, but it's just a reality thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope people understand, like, hey, if he's out there and can give us 15 to 20 minutes and then it builds off of that, terrific. He was the Big Sky Player of the Year, 3 years ago or whatever it was, so he can play.
Yep.
But also Achilles, and I've come back from a ACL, and that took longer than 6 months. Oh, you're cleared in 6 months. You're on the floor in 6 months, but you don't feel good after about a year.
Right.
So hopefully that can happen. And then we've talked about on our broadcast, and, I mentioned on the first episode, is where are we going to get the perimeter made threes? Because we can talk about Braden and Graham the whole time.
Yeah.
They're going to be terrific.
Yeah.
They showed last year they can play together. What was the run we had with multiple bigs on each team? I mean, if you even go back to Kelly's years, and then you go where we played 2 bigs for probably a decade.
Yep.
Right. And then we went away from him, not by philosophy, just kind of how the roster worked out. Mm-hmm. But now it's like, okay, we're going back to kind of like bruising you inside. Mm-hmm. And when you first hear that, you think, well, they're going to score less. Like we were more efficient back then. Yeah. Probably didn't score as much, but it was a 3-point clip either way. You know what I mean? Which is nothing crazy. You're still in the 80s. So I think those 2 guys are going to be fine. We're going to see a lot of high-lows action, but where can we get the perimeter shooting from? What do you think?
Don't you? I think Steele, and again, I'm with you, Mo, and let's preface all of this.
Yes.
In a scrimmage looking, great, and then going and playing against, Kentucky or UCLA or Oregon, right? It may take a little while, right? It's going to take a little while, but it was really promising. I think you get it from him. I think Adam Miller, watching that stroke, that was a sweet lefty, I thought it looked good. And he shot it really well last year. And I think if he can continue that, he was at 43%, I think last year.
12 points a game, I think is what I saw for Arizona State, which is a good program. Didn't have a great year, but they're a good program.
Yep.
He shot it. Yeah, it was at 12 points. So, 40 effective field goal. So, right in the 40s, 42 from 3. Yeah, you're right, from last year. So, with volume. So, obviously, that's going to help. But for me, that's going to be our biggest question.
Yep.
Is how can we make shots on the perimeter? And I know it's such a cliche, it's not a deep take or whatever, how the fuck you want to describe it, but if you can't make shots against double teams and over helping inside, then it looks shitty. How many times did we have it last year?
Yep.
Where we couldn't make it. What was that number we had where we were like, if we shot less than 30% or something, we were like 0 for the season? Mm-hmm. Literally, I would tell people, like, what's wrong with Zags? I'm like, well, if we make like 4 more of those threes, we win.
Yeah. No, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Sometimes it's kind of hard to explain it to people, but I think, Grant Foster maybe, but obviously Steele, and then Miller from the outside. Yeah.
And then you know what, Mo? We talked to Emmanuel at PRESEASON in the kennel, right? And it's going to be interesting again because, the preseason versus, how many times, do we kind of get reports, from camp, oh, hey, this guy looks really good. He's, he's shooting it well or he's playing great. And then maybe when we get to game time, it doesn't quite sort out, right? But I know they're excited about him. I know they're letting him shoot it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you've said it. Manny's not going to go and make 7 or 8 threes in a game.
No.
But, if he can make a couple and help loosen things up, while he's on the floor, and I think he's got an opportunity to help. I mean, it's going to be Miller and Steele, right?
Yes.
That are going to be your guys. But
Well, I mean, also, I want to see the jump Braden Huff has made from 3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was, 9 for 32 last year? That's not very good.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to get to the lower, 33 and above with two attempts a game on a pick and pop, in my opinion. That's something that he's going to have to show. Just because it spaces the floor, it makes it easier, obviously. But, the thing with Emmanuel is, I think everybody assumes because he's a defensive player that he can't shoot as well. Sometimes those guys can just make corner threes. If he can be at the 35s, 36, he'll be fine. I think he should be, first in line to start on the perimeter, in my opinion, just because he just does so many good things. Defensively, obviously, he's not awful offensively. And also sometimes you have to take it with a grain of salt. And I've said this, he can't shoot. It's like, well, he was 0 for 2, and the 2 that he got were corner threes with 4 seconds left on the clock.
Right.
But then all the other things he did on the other side of the floor. And then also, in the context of a team, especially with two good inside guys, do you want every perimeter guy to be like shot first?
Yeah.
Or do you want some guys to swing it to the other side?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Literally.
Right.
So
Yes.
sometimes you need guys that just catch, not that they're a complete liability, but just like enough threat, but like, no, most of the time he's going to swing the freaking ball to the other side.
Yeah.
And then we play.
Yep.
So I think he should be, a wonderful, kind of addition as far as playing more. I think he should get the first crack at starting on the perimeter. But it'll be interesting to see what Coach Few does as far as the perimeter playing. It goes without saying, Braden Smith, the point guard from Colgate, who sat out last year, was he Player of the Year or Rookie of the Year?
He was Player of the Year.
Player of the Year. He's got a lot of weight on his shoulders. What do you think about him so far?
I think he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, again, reports have been, solid. I think it's going to be interesting, right? Because we talk about this transfer portal thing and that step up, it's easy to say, you got all these big numbers at this place. Okay, well, no disrespect to the Patriot League, but again, the Patriot League isn't playing Oklahoma and Creighton and Arizona State and Kentucky and all those guys. So but I do like his game. And when you watch him play, I mean, he looks like he gets up the floor pretty quick. I think he's got, good feel. And I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be interesting. Obviously, there wasn't a lot of talk about him around here when he came out of high school, right?
No.
I don't know that we even
because he was the Tacoma kid, right?
Yeah,
Isn't he?
So he's a West Side kid, and but yeah, I think he's done okay. And I think that's another one of those things that gets lost in this day and age is that redshirt year. And we've had so much success. We could talk about it ad nauseum, but for him to say, okay, because he thought, when we talked to him, he thought he was going to play last year. I mean, his initial intention was to play.
Oh, yeah,
and then
been the third guard. Yeah, makes sense.
It's like, hey, I'm going to sit out and I'm going to learn. And so I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. He seems like a good decision maker from the little bit that we've seen him, So, I mean, I think for him, probably not trying to do too much, right? You've got a lot of talent surrounding you. Get the ball where it's supposed to be. We talked about Ryan, remember his first year, especially when we were in Honolulu.
First 7 games,
like
he was
7 or 8
awful.
games. He was trying
terrible.
to score. He was trying to do a ton of stuff that wasn't in his game.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, okay, now he's getting other guys involved. Now shots are opening up. Now he was able to score. But so, as long as he doesn't try to do too much, I think he should be fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be curious because he has a lot of, I guess pressure and nobody will say it, but being a Gonzaga point guard is like being the starting quarterback, right? And you got to be pretty dialed in on taking care of the basketball. And, there's a lot of shoes to fill, especially with both Nemhards being here for 6 years or just 5 years or whatever. Both guys are in the NBA. They're pretty good.
Right.
And we've been accustomed to, and before that, the guys that don't turn the ball over.
Right.
And so, like you to go off what you said, sometimes you just got to come down, especially with 2 really good bigs and the way they score assists now. Just get it get it in and throw it to him and then stand there and you look up and you'll have 8 assists by the end of the night. So that's but I am curious to see because it's going to be a different role.
Yep.
Obviously at the Colgate, he was probably scoring the ball more. If he was Player of the Year, obviously he was scoring the ball. Doesn't mean you can't hear, but how much is he willing to put that in the back burner?
Yeah.
Right. And how, is he okay with having 4 shots a game sometimes?
Yeah.
But also, like, if you can do that and take care of it, Coach Few will play you 28 minutes plus.
Yeah.
So that's the counter to it. It's like, well, you're on the floor the entire time.
Right.
But it's funny. He looks kind of like Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, as far as like stature wise. So you're like, first you want to be like, oh, small point guard again. What are we doing? But they've both been pretty successful.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because you know, if you and I laugh when Huey gets going sometimes. He doesn't like the size of his point guards, but you're always like, well, you recruited the fucking kid. Like, what are you talking about? But he has, and it
worked out. Yeah, just had 2 zillion assists this year.
100%. Right. So like, it's funny because you laugh because he's just venting. But then if it was a taller guy, like, he can't turn the corner. You know what I mean? The other thing. So sometimes you and I are like, okay, what else do you want? Like, shit, this guy's pretty good. Like, Perk, you know, you just go on the list. Well, I was there when it was Pangos and Gary Bell, and those are probably 2 of our most winning backcourts of all time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
These guys are so short. Like, Kevin's still playing.
Yep.
Gary Bell was like one of the ultimate winners at this program.
Exactly.
Like,
if he didn't get hurt, he'd probably still be playing.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, you're like, those are 2 good guys, but like, they can't see over the top. And it's like, well, Kevin just goes on. They just go under, and Kevin shoots it from 4 feet beyond the 3. Right. Who cares? And he makes it. And then Gary does the same thing on the other side on the skip. Like, okay, we're good. But anyway, so I'll be curious to see. He's got to flatten the defense, all those things, but that's a legitimate question mark. Mm-hmm. I actually like the Spaniard kid, Mario. How do you
say Sapiri?
Sapiri. Okay, I'm gonna have a hard one with that. Yeah. Sapiri. I don't know why, but
at least
Sapiri.
That's what it is today. Well, we'll make sure we get it squared away. They seem to change every once in a while.
They change it. Well, it's always funny when the foreigner guys come in. You know, obviously we say it wrong, but they probably are too nervous to say anything at the start, and then they're like, "Wait a second."
Yeah.
And then so you feel bad because you've been calling a guy about this wrong pronunciation, and you don't want to be an asshole. Like,
well, Elias. I called Elias his entire first year because somebody and I think his dad was sitting there, and it came up, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then when he was a sophomore, so I got.
Well, remember Ravio went to Rivio? I was like, Rav, you've been Rav my entire life. But he was like, no, you guys are saying it wrong. I'm like, oh, and you can't really argue with somebody.
Yeah.
No, this is how you're supposed to pronounce your family name. God damn it.
You know, the one of my best stories is his dad came up and I walked up to Rabbit when you guys were getting ready for your first game, and he's on the floor, and I was like, all right, hey, you're gonna. So it was a sophomore year. Yeah. So I was like, hey, you're gonna be playing a lot this year.
Yes.
Okay. There's a lot of consternation. There's a lot of conversation about how you say your name. How do you say it? Is it Ravio or is it Rivio? And he's like, I don't care. I'm like, what the heck? So
it's funny.
Later that season, his dad comes down and asks me for a box score. And I give him the business. You know, I'm like, so Ravio, Rivio? He's, yeah. No, what? What are we doing?
You don't care.
It was really funny.
Some
and then
dead relatives rolling over in their grave.
Exactly right. Yeah, but no, it is kind of funny. But yeah, Mario, I'm with you, man. I like him. Again, good size, right? Yeah. You know, good size. I think he's going to have to figure out how to play here a little bit, right? Yes. He's got that European flash. You know, throw the behind the back pass, maybe throw the one-handed pass.
Yeah, the one that didn't complete, and we both look like still calling the game like, where's Coach Few? I want to see his facial expression. Couldn't see it. I was like, damn it. I swear to God, I was like, where is he? Where is he? I want to see that the eye roll and
no, it is funny. But I think, you know, I mean, you look at the level that he played at, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that he was just playing Eurobasket. I mean, the kid can play, right? And so it's going to be, I think, getting used to it, right? The system here. You know, I had a chance to talk to him after practice, and it was great. Super young man, you know, but I mean, he's talking about being away from home. He's an only kid, you know, and so it was like, okay. He's I'm kind of used to it because I had moved away last year, but, you know, as he said, his parents are going to be coming over because, you know, so I think getting acclimated to that, you know, he's talking about getting acclimated to school and then getting acclimated again to, and I think this gets undervalued so much, and you and I talk about it quite a bit, just the terminology, the difference between, it's so different. And, you know, and I'm trying to teach you to say, you know, where can I get a hamburger? And the coach is telling you, you know, okay, hey, on this back screen, we're going to slip to this, and then, you know, we're going to double him, we're going to do this and that. And you're like, wait, what? I don't even know how to say hamburger. Like, what, you know what I'm saying? So I think there's a little bit of that goes on. But I mean, he speaks pretty well. I think he's going to pick it up, and he can play. I think it'll just be a little bit of just getting
and we got Jorge on the staff too, so he can, you know, do the language barrier with Spanish, and you know, and I think too, to be honest, like especially in the European countries, just my experience, I'm right, but it's like most of those almost all that generation has to learn English right away. Right. So when you travel over there, there's not really a language barrier unless you're going up to an older person. I don't mean that in a bad way.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So like, I think he'll have some terminology down, but again, having a native speaker in Jorge on the bench, just like, okay. Then
Jorge was sitting there. He's like, oh, Jorge's my savior. He's like, I get to talk Spanish with him. He's like, exactly. No, you're right.
So
it
makes it a lot easier. I thought, going through the roster again, I thought Davis Fogel, the freshman, looked good.
Yeah.
Top 40 kid from Anacortes. Then he went down to what's the place in
Compass
Prep
down
in
Arizona.
In Phoenix. And so he looked good. I think he was in Tyler Maya's little crew.
Oh, okay.
Or his AU program. So that's kind of a hardcore Gonzaga fans. Remember, Tyler played for a year and a half or whatever, then transferred, but was a great kid, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Cool dude. I see him on the circuit stuff all the time. And has a great AAU program. So that's kind of a cool little tidbit that he probably was like, no, Gonzaga's a good spot. You know, these are good dudes and good program, blah, blah, blah. But he looked fine. It's one of those weird things that we talked about on the air. Like, shit, 10 years ago, I'd be like, we got a top 40, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit, we got to get him ready to play. I was going to play. Now it's like, and that's not because of his game. He looked fine.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that's funny, like, right?
We got 8 transfers or whatever the hell we got on the perimeter.
Yeah, and it's funny, too, because, again, when I was talking about size earlier, like, looking at him, you're like, okay, that's not a freshman. You know, we've had kids who've come in, right? I mean, his body looked
he looked
like
good.
Ready. Like, he looked like he could start and play. And I was kind of laughing because we were talking about it, and I brought it up, like, oh, freshmen aren't going to play very much. And then he comes out, and you're like, oh, that kid actually has the size that he could. But like you said, I mean, you know, where the minutes come from is going to be really tough, the position he plays and everybody that was brought in.
Yeah,
but I thought he looked good, too. I'm with you. He moved well. And,
moved well. He got to his spots a couple times. He had a nice finish in transition. I think he made a jumper as well. Got some hands on his ball, but on some basketballs, but it was kind of like, again, like you're looking at the Foster Gray kid or whatever, and then you're looking at Miller, and then you're looking at Steel Venters, Emmanuel. You're like, you start going like, okay, where's the minutes on the perimeter going to come from? Mario. I mean, he could slide over to 2. You could have, you know, if he's playing good enough, you can have both those quote unquote guards on the floor like we did last year.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Jalen Worley yet, who's a 6'7", 6'8", you know, who's probably going to be the backup 4, but
he's like a
6'7", 6'8", right?
Yeah, he could play the 3.
Yep.
He looked all right too. Yeah. Didn't take an outside shot, I don't think, but like kind of did everything in the middle. Yeah, which was fine. So again, it's one of these good problems to have. But we're, you know, on the broadcast at the end, we're like kind of scratching around, like, okay, who's separated themselves?
Yeah, right. And
you know. And so again, the beauty of it is, you know, we're not trying to figure out who's going to put the ball in the basket. I mean, obviously, we're missing. You know, what was it? What would you say on the broadcast? How many points did Lee?
It was like 55. Yeah,
which is a lot. So that's actually a very good point. Like, so to give the listeners context, 55 points left the roster this year. Yeah. Now, obviously, we got Braden and Graham, 2 All-American candidates, but that's still a lot of points you got to make up. But it's not the end of the world. But also, it's like, okay, somebody's got to put the ball through the cup, and you know, you can't really do it with 10 guys. You can theoretically, but it's hard to get rhythm. And I've been a big believer in 7.5, 8 guys rotations, 9 at the start of the year, and then you cut it down. But Jalen Worley looked fine as well. So like literally at the end of the broadcast, I was like,
I know.
And then
and the other thing is, you know, you bring Tyon in. You know, I mean, he hasn't been with us all summer, and then all of a sudden you throw him into the mix, and then you're kind of like, okay, well, you know, not comfortable with everybody. Everybody's not comfortable with him yet. And to your point of like trying to figure out who it's going to be and how it's going to work out, you know, I had a chance to talk to him the other night, and he was actually great. He said, you know what? And it's like music to your ears if you're a Zag fan. He was like, it's good being in a place where I don't have to be the guy that's scoring all the time. No. You know, he's like, I got guys I can throw it to. He's like, I'm still going to score. Yeah. You know, but I don't have to be the guy where, you know, at Grand Canyon, he was, you know, it's like, okay, I got to go get 20 or 24, kind of where you were at some points, you know,
or else. Say, that's more fun when you have to fucking score every time. What is he talking about?
But I'll say this. Here's what he's saying.
Sweet.
But here's what he's saying, though.
Step back jumpers, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you were going to the NCAA tournament every year.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Right, and I think that's the thing for him after a, 7-year journey, you know. And
he probably wants to,
you know, it's like, okay, hey, we can, you know, I'm on a team where,
do you want to go? Can you go through his story real quick? Because people don't know why he's not immediately eligible and what have you.
So he was junior college 2 years. Okay. So he was 18, 19, 19, 20. He went junior college. Okay. And then he had 1 year at Kansas. And then I think he played about 20 games, 22 games. Went to DePaul. His first game at DePaul, he collapsed at halftime. He had an episode with his heart. Sat out the rest of that season, sat out the next season.
So you got cleared for those, though, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
So that's my understanding.
Okay.
Yeah, he got 0. So then he played 2 years at Grand Canyon.
And he was terrific.
Yes. Yeah, and he was the player of the year 2 years ago. We got hurt towards the end of last year.
But he's the one that killed St. Mary's, right, in the NCAA tournament. If people went to that, the local people went to that at that game in Spokane, and St. Mary's probably thought, oh, they're going to like us, and everybody just jumped on. It was funny hearing that from the road. It was like, oh, this is awesome.
It was funny.
Anyway.
No, but so you're right. So it's kind of an interesting thing. There are two things I think that you're looking at. The quarterback from Vanderbilt who sued to say junior college shouldn't count against my eligibility, right? So he won that. So now the NCAA saying, okay, well, your junior college doesn't count. Well, 2 of his years were junior college years. So if you scrap those, and then Tyon's one of the few kids left that had the COVID year.
Oh, geez, we're still in that.
So he's, there are a handful of kids, I think, and so he's one of them. So if you look at the COVID years 1, and then you scratch the JUCO, he's only played 3 full years of basketball.
But
so that's the argument
for
4, but been in for 7.
Okay.
And because of the the heart issue, obviously that took 2 of those years away.
Yeah.
So I think that's where everybody's kind of scratching their heads with some of these other decisions. Eastern Michigan just had a kid who was granted a 7th year to play. So, Tyon, I think. You have to be encouraged, right? If they're going to let him come and practice, and if he participates in craziness, knock on wood. You have to think. But the weird thing to me, Mo, is you can't get an answer out of anybody.
I know. I've tried to dig into it a little bit, and they're like, I don't know. Yeah,
no, everybody, and I don't know. They don't have any reason to lie to us, right?
It's like, they're not. Yeah, they're not protecting us. A secret or anything like that. And we've gotten the answers on certain things, and then they give us the wink, like, don't fucking say anything. Right? Gotcha. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like. So anyway, it's curious.
It's weird. And I saw something where they were talking, and I agree with this in principle, not necessarily with Tyon because of the, the heart issues and those things, but it sounds like some of the people out there are finally starting to decide that maybe the NCAA model shouldn't be 25 and 26-year-olds playing against 18-year-olds. This is never what it was intended to be.
It's true.
And so they're trying to maybe rein it back in, and maybe that junior college thing, the NCAA got to a point where they were getting sued left and right, and they were scared of what was going to happen.
So, sorry to cut you off, but they just went, so literally last year, it counted as a 0 going to JUCO. Okay. So I'm just giving people context. So that's why Ajayi had another year.
Yes.
So Graham Ike, but now they changed the rule back that it does count.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what the
right? No, I know.
It doesn't make sense. It's crazy.
It's just like our kids in District 81. Next year, we're going to a whatever balanced schedule or whatever. Let's just start it with the kindergartners. Instead of changing, it's kind of the same thing for me with the NCAA. Okay, if you were going to say junior college doesn't count anymore, start it in 2026. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Instead of, we changed the rule.
Back, but you can go back.
We're changing it, And
I get what you're saying.
If you're a kid, let's say Addie decided to go to junior college to play because she knew it was like, okay, I've got 2 years to develop, and then I can go and chase my D1 dreams.
That's what a lot of people were thinking about.
Yeah, and then you did it, and then the NCAA comes out and like, actually, no, never mind, it is going to count, right? It's like, it feels like to me that we should have rules, let's set them, okay, sorry, Adam. Tough luck. I know you played in junior college. I know you want to play another year, but the rule doesn't take effect till next year.
Yeah.
That's how we used to live life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, it was a bummer, but now that's how we're going to do this instead of changing these things, back and forth. Santa Clara got the kid who played 2 years in the G League.
That is crazy, too.
And
that's insane.
And I have heard that because I believe he's from Africa. He played in the NBA Global Academy thing or whatever when he was 16 before he went and played in the G League for those 2 years. And I thought somebody was saying that they're kind of comparing it to him playing in Europe, where some of the kids play on professional teams or whatever. And
I guess.
They've deemed 2 years of professional basketball makes him a junior, so he's going to be a junior this year playing for Santa Clara. So who knows, right? But for me, just let's make the rule for a certain time, and then the rule starts that day, and then we can all understand it when we move forward.
Yeah,
right?
no,
instead of
I agree.
All this stuff.
It doesn't make sense, and obviously we hope that Tyron gets accepted because a heart issue is a legitimate medical red shirt. That makes complete sense. So it's like okay, and then obviously the COVID years is whatever you think. Your thoughts on that whole fiasco, but that was what everybody got. So just take it for what it is. So it's like but the problem with the NCAA like now is like they're just so piled with lawsuits and they're so afraid of saying no that they can't really govern the way that they probably should or want to. And I'm not defending the NCAA in any way, but that's what it's become. People kind of just look at it and be like, okay. And that's why I said it on a broadcast. I was like, is there any like rules anymore? Like what if they tell you no, you're like, but we can pay somebody. So what does it matter? Like, did you see that Wofford deal that those kids got for the food thing?
The food thing.
And you're like, so they lose eligibility. The coach gets fired because they were going to the fucking cafeteria while living off campus. That's what we're over. But now you can.
Arch Manning's making $6 million a year to play football.
Whoever,
or whatever.
We could go up to any of our boosters and God bless them and go, I need $1,000, and they can literally hand it to you in front of everybody. So it's just like that's where I don't think it doesn't make any sense. And so like with his case, I'm like, just say he's good and then just your last your senior year and then we're good and we can move on and be ready to go. Because you're right, like we don't get a straight answer from anybody. And again, it's not people just bullshitting us. They're just like I don't know. Like who's running? Like,
and even
what's
like,
going on over there?
It's like when's the decision coming? Yeah, it's like, well, it might be a week, might be 2 weeks. Okay. You know what I mean? Was somebody working on the case? Are they not working on the case?
Exactly.
Or they,
I don't.
You know, and it's, you know, and you feel for the kid. Again, you know, we're talking about, you know, our deal and Gonzaga and how good we're going to be. But, right, I mean, same thing. I mean, this kid's kind of, you know, in limbo. And let's be honest. I mean, he's good enough to go play overseas.
Yes.
Well, can he go play overseas now? You would know that better than me. I mean, now the fact that we're getting into, you know, October, November.
Probably not. Like
right?
Those
so
rosters are usually full, and then you got to wait until somebody gets hurt or somebody gets cut. And then you got to jump into the fire, and then sometimes you got, you know, 2 weeks to a month to impress, and they'll send your ass back home.
Right.
And you'll sign a quote unquote guaranteed deal. It ain't guaranteed. So when you do go over there, the first thing you do is to making me like, not even joking. It sounds like mafia style. Hand me an envelope of cash with the C notes printed off next to the $100 bills, so they matched. So I know I'm serious. That's what I did. So you knew they weren't fake, because how would you really know if some of them were fake? So they printed off. You could get them at the banks, and they print off the C note, the serial numbers to all the C notes. So if I'm getting cut, at least I'm going home with something. Kiss my ass. Like, but that's how crazy some European. It's better in the top levels, but you get to the middle parts.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, good talk on the roster. You know what I mean? But schedule, moving along. Schedule this year. Good one.
The Perimeter will be right back after a word from our sponsor.
It's time for Home Team Rewards. Zag fans, get your Bulldog branded ICCU Premier Rewards Visa credit card, the only card where you can earn rewards for everyday purchases while giving back to Gonzaga University. Choose from a Visa Rewards card with a lower rate or a Premier Rewards card with maximum rewards. With no annual fees, card control, and next-level security, you can spend smart from tap to app. Zags, rejoice! Find your card at iccu.com/GoZags on approved credit.
You know what I mean? But schedule, moving along. Schedule this year. Good one. You know, Oklahoma at home or in their arena, correct? I think it's going to be a great one. That's what's Saturday, November 8th. So coming up less than a month. I like that we are doing those Spokane Arena Veterans Memorial, and I'm glad we're getting good teams in it. But we went like 10 years without playing in there, basically, or like 8 or 9. Because did we lose to somebody, or did we have like a bad showing? Was it Wazoo?
It was a combination, you know. And we remember, because we kept playing, and we played Memphis. Remember, Cal wouldn't play us at the Kennel, and so we'd go and play really good teams and lose. And it was kind of one of those weird things where they just started stacking up, right? It's like, okay, we've lost 3 in a row here. Do we want to, you know, say we're not shooting great? You always talk about it.
Like
I mean, it's not great sight lines, right?
It's not a great sight line place.
So you kind of, you know, I think it was like, okay, and what are we really getting out of it, right? And I'm with you. I mean, if you get a good opponent, and I mean, it's been electric the last couple of years.
Terrific in there.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been great. I'm with you. It's great to have it in
the
there.
Kentucky game, the Baylor game last year was terrific. The Kentucky game the year before was, I mean, that was the best it sounded in forever. And it was cool because you could just feel the electricity and the fans kind of, there's beer served and it's a little bit different crowd.
Yeah.
And it's not a knock on the McCarthy Center, but it's like, well, let's get some good old Spokane folks in here. You know what I mean? Like, let it loose a little bit. And, so that part is fun. But Oklahoma's a terrific one. And then Creighton in the kennel will be a good one as well. So,
yeah, I think those are awesome games to get. I think, and you and I talk about this. I mean, we go, and I know you're impressing the players, and I know the promoters are, making money, playing these things in NBA arenas and all this stuff. But I mean, you can't beat being on a college
100%.
campus and the the atmosphere. And I mean,
It's way
Creighton,
better.
right? I mean, us and Creighton, I don't know that we're rivals necessarily, but I mean, similar size schools.
Yeah, they're mid-major. Obviously our resume is better. And this is not a knock, but like if you want to talk about like mid-major power and then moving up to a major conference and having deep run success, Creighton's the one in the middle of the country. Yeah, and they're always the one you turn on Saturday and you're watching them and you're just like, oh my god, man, these guys can make a run. I'm absolutely, we saw them in Indy that year, and we've played them. We played them a couple of times, and I think there's a lot of respect, right? And I'm with you. Like they've jumped up there. Well, he can coach, and then they just they always have NBA talent on their roster. They're always well built with good bigs, good shooting, like an NCAA tournament run. And then they coached their ass off. And then we played in that one year. Did we win that game at Creighton?
We did.
We did. It was a weird, like
we played like noon, 10 o'clock in the morning or something.
It's like a noon start, but they were serving drinks.
I remember the student section walking out. All those empty 24-ounce
I was like trying
cans.
to duck in there because I knew I was going to get some shit walking in there. So I like ducked in real quick and like put on the headset right away. But it was cool. But like I think that's a terrific rivalry or a series is what I should say that we should do, because going to Omaha was fun as well. So
and they got great support. That's
great
too,
support.
right? It's a big old place, right? It was about 10,000 or something.
It was bigger than I thought.
Yeah,
and like I said, the student section was good, and it's just a good like either team, win or lose, it's not going to be a bad loss for you. It's going to be a great win. Blah blah blah.
Right.
So I think it's just a great. And then like you said, playing at each other's buildings, because I mean the neutral site stuff's kind of fun. But shit, man, sometimes it's just like we get out there and we're like, you just got to lie a little bit. Well, it's a great atmosphere tonight.
Right. Well, and the thing too, like the older I get, it's like, okay, and like Climate Pledge walking in there, you're like, okay, this is a different deal, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, we walk into these NBA arenas and you're like, oh, seen it.
Seen it. Yeah, 100%.
Same place with a different name plastered on it, you know, and I love going to campuses and seeing the different stuff and the different traditions. And
well, shit, going to Kentucky was the coolest thing. That's probably the coolest venue I've ever called a game, like a regular season game.
Yeah, without a doubt.
It was just like unbelievable. Obviously, us winning helped, but like, you're like, oh, this is a barn, but it's their barn. Yeah. And it's a cool barn.
Right. Yeah.
It's literally a barn.
History in it.
Yeah. It's like, this is their barn, and it's awesome. And I loved it, and it was like, ooh, I get it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just having home and home or on campus games are terrific. At Arizona State will be an interesting one too. Yeah, because they're always a weird group as far as always super talented. Some years they're the brink of 500, and then some years they're a bona fide NCAA tournament team. But they're always the talented group, is what I'm trying to get at. So you kind of have to ignore the record. They're going to play their ass off. Coach Hurley's going to scream and yell at them. They get ripping and roaring. And he can coach, and then he has familiarity with UConn, his brother. You know what I mean? So there's a state secrets that can be traded.
That's true. Yep. No, you're right.
With ease on how to combat whatever we run, and then that's usually a fan base that likes to get after it.
And a coach who likes to get after it, and players who like to get after it. And we saw it last year here, right? Yeah. Where it's like, oh wait, we're in a ball game right now. Yeah. Okay, hey, this, they're not going to not play hard, right? I mean, they're going to fly around, and it's going to be, you're going to have to earn that thing, and it'll be interesting because obviously, you and I don't follow ASU to the degree, but I have to imagine that this will be one of their bigger on-campus games they've had in a really long time.
Yeah, easily.
So it'll be a heck of an environment.
Yeah, it'll be good, and
like
obviously we travel well, so I'll be curious to see what pocket of tickets we can get. Mm-hmm. But I have people down in Phoenix, and they're already asking me. I'm like, guys, I can't get them. Like, you want to break out that credit card, go for it. Right. But it's like they ain't giving them away. I can tell you that much. And then we go to the players deal in Vegas. Thanksgiving, right? Is around Thanksgiving, November 24th. But we play Alabama. which would be a great one. And then Maryland, quote unquote, as well. And then if we win, do we
Tuesday,
play like?
Then we win.
We play the opposite side.
Yeah,
it would be like Iowa State. Or...
So and that's right. That's that new event. It's kind of interesting because when they played it that one year, and there's NIL money and whatever, and they didn't get a lot of traction because they weren't on the right networks necessarily. But they're starting to obviously get it going, and it's a little different format. But they're so we go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Should be nice. We'll be back home for Thanksgiving. Which
we're flying back the next morning on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I will get up, get it done. I mean, hey, if we're in Hawaii, I mean, hey, we're staying and we're having turkey on the beach, but you and I have spent enough time in Las Vegas over the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm Vegased out. I've done like 35, 40 trips just in my entire life of hoops. Yeah. And it's mostly hoops too. Yeah. People think, you're going out there for fun. I'm like, I'm usually there somehow because of basketball. Every year. Yeah. At least twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. so it is crazy. Like, but
can we stay off the strip? You know what I mean? You start getting to like, I don't want to be here right now. Yeah. It's $14.99 for a Fiji. I just lost $500 like blinking at the table. I want to go. Just want to go to the normal. I want to go to fucking Denny's. Right. And then go to bed. And we're good. Yeah, no, exactly. But it will be good basketball. I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, I think the basketball side of it should be all right. And, I think those are some games that you kind of look at that, pay dividends down the road, right? Yeah. You hopefully get a couple of wins down there. And, I mean, obviously those Christmas and Thanksgiving tournaments are big for Coach Few, and it's big for our program every year. That's why we are who we are, is we get to go to these type of events, and you can stack some of those NCAA tournament type wins, but sometimes they, you get one and the team falters, and you're just like, sometimes it can hurt you a little bit. So you never know, but those are also fun. And then I always talk about, you don't play games back to back in the NCAA tournament. You play them game and day off boss. So you got a short turnaround, getting your body ready. It prepares you for that. Mm-hmm. Obviously the guys should know that by now, but seeing it live action against high level competition will be great. So looking forward to that. And then we get some time off, and then going to Nashville versus Kentucky. That'll be a fun one. That will be a fun one. That'll be a good one. Because you know what? I think sneakily you're going to get a lot of Zag fans are going to travel, right? Oh, absolutely. Hey, get to go to Nashville, which is a great city. Yeah. We played Tennessee there a few years ago. Nice arena. Mm-hmm. And then obviously with the Kentucky thing, that's, become a pretty good rivalry, and obviously they're going to travel well. So no, I've got that one circled. Yeah, right? That's going to be a good one. That one's going to be fun. And we had them last year, and that's the one in Climate Pledge that we pooped down our leg, and that one hurt. It was 18, 19, and then just couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, and then it went sideways, and then we had the fights in the stands behind us. Remember that? It was crazy. It was fun. Like it was like getting dicey, where you're like, oh man, like people are really like nose to nose with each other. Like you usually don't see this in college basketball. No. I loved it, but it was fun. Yeah. And then, we have some couple games, North Florida, and some home games or whatever. And then UCLA, it's in Seattle, right? Yeah, that's Climate Pledge. They don't call it the Battle in Seattle anymore. What do they call it? Just the game in Seattle or something? I think so. Yeah. We're going to Seattle, everybody. Going to Seattle. But yeah, I will always call it the Battle in Seattle. Too. I don't give a shit. Me too. Screw your promotion, Battle in Seattle. But that'll be, again, UCLA. Shit, we've played them, 10 years in a row, basically. Like, honestly. I mean, honestly, it's close to eight at least. Yeah. So, it's a great rivalry. We were talking in Honolulu 2 years ago. You mentioned it, but it was so true. I think you were talking to one of the ADs or sports information, and we were like, are we tired of playing each other? Like nicely, because it's just like, okay, we got to talk about the NCAA tournament stuff, and then here we go, and it's like, God, we've already played them like 7 times. Yeah. After that, you know what I mean? And then both obviously good programs, but it's like some of the games weren't very good. No. You know what I mean? Even though we've won them, some of them were like, oh, this is gross, man. Yep. Like, this is bad basketball. Mm-hmm. But obviously a good, rivalry, because I've said it all the time. It used to be, Gonzaga, UCLA, Arizona were like the 3 West Coast programs, like it or not. And UW was that for a little bit. They're trying to get back there with Sprinkle. But I think those 3 programs, and obviously we're not going to play Arizona anymore. Yeah. Just because it's our friend. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think it's the it's kind of a must.
Yeah.
Even as much we've kind of had fatigue with playing them, and that's not like my own experience. It's just like, man, we play these guys every stinking year.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a must because you kind of have to have those, regional rivalries, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And I think it's right. It's good for West Coast basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, at that time of year where everybody's starting to focus and, earlier and earlier, all those conferences are starting back east, the SEC and the Big Ten, to have a game where everybody says, hey, all right, hey, these are the two best programs or have been two of the storied programs out there on the West Coast. Like this, gets a little bit of attention.
Well, they had us. I mean, they beat us in, what was that? Where were we at last year? Was it LA, the Clippers arena?
Yep.
Yeah. And they kind of surprised us.
Yep.
As far as I thought we were the more talented team, but they played harder and had a great game plan. And I know that one felt good for that staff. So there's more juice to this game now.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we got to say it. We'll bring it up. I'll bring it up when we get closer to this game. But how many have we lost in a row in Seattle? You even know that?
A lot.
Is it like, when's the last time we won that? Let's think this through. It's that people don't like to hear it, but the people need to realize it.
Yeah, we haven't won since we played in Climate. So we've been at Climate Pledge three times,
right? So we're 0 for 3.
Yeah,
Alabama kicked the shit out of us that one year, and that's the one we played at like 1 p.m. or whatever, and everybody's like, man, and they just came out bang, bang, bang threes. That's when they kind of got on the national stage.
That's right,
because their style of play was different. They shoot nothing but threes and layups. But remember that we were like, oh shit, we're down like 15. Fuck, it's like at the second media, like. We might not be coming back from this one. Like, well, at least we had some beers the night before us, and we don't have to fly on the team plane. All right. You know what I mean? Like, we were both like, oh, whoops. And then UConn last year. And then who was it? Or no, UConn the year before, then Kentucky.
And then Kentucky, yeah.
And the UConn one was similar, too, where it was like,
this is different.
Yeah, we were like, oh, we can't get across half court. We're entering our offense at 40 feet.
Right.
This is not going to work tonight, guys. Like, I remember that. Trying to like soften the blow on the radio, and I was like, that was different. That dribbling off our leg, and obviously it was one of the two back-to-back teams, but like defensively, like, our poor point guards Nolan and Ryan, like, and obviously terrific careers, but they literally were like entering the ball at 40 feet, like looking around, like, oh God, somebody who can I throw it to? Like, Graham, bring it up, or whatever. It was bad. I mean, it was really bad. Like, oh, take this off TV real quick. But yeah, so 0 for 3 in Climate. When did we win last? Was it like...
Well, because we hadn't played over there, and that was the other thing, too, right? It was that same thing. We stopped playing it. That's a good question, Mo. Shoot. Get out the Google machine or something.
Well, it's probably been 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
My point, 10 years since we've won, and so there's kind of a lot riding on this, because I know people get pissed off, obviously, rightfully so. There's a lot of fans over there. Only time they get to watch us, or people travel. And then we lay an egg.
But now, but it's also the right. It's the
I'm just the radio guy. Egg, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
shit.
Right. But it's the chicken or the egg thing, right? It's like, okay, everybody wants us to play top 5 teams every night.
You're right. Good point.
Then
exactly.
If you lose, you can't be mad. I mean, it's
100%.
So if we're going to play, because remember the battle in Seattle for a couple years, we played Davidson the year after Steph was gone.
We played like a North Alabama,
right? I think we played UMass when they were really down, and the numbers came way down, right? From your first year, right? When we played Missouri with Quinn Snyder.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was
the livest that thing has ever been, and then obviously the Oklahoma State
too. Yeah.
Who did we play a second year? My sophomore year there.
Yeah, we played.
Was it UMass?
It might have been UMass.
I think it was UMass.
Yeah, it might have been UMass.
But yeah, like it was live in there, like the old Key. And it gets live in the Climate Pledge. It's not the venue. It's just we just haven't had any good luck. But also you have to play a good team in that thing. You can't because we played North. I remember when that happened. People were like, what the hell? Like, whoops. What do you know?
I got something going on that weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's just make sure there's a W on this one. It counts as a home game too.
Right.
Okay, you know what I mean? Like, there were some things behind that one. But yeah, anyway, it's going to be interesting playing UCLA in Seattle, because we haven't won there in 3 years, and they beat us last year. So that's when we got circled. And then the last big non-conference is Oregon at whatever the Rose Garden's called now. I don't know what
Moda
it is.
Center?
Moda Center, yeah. Right. So that'll be another good one. Backstory, I've said it on the broadcast many times. and I'll bring it up again, but the listeners on this podcast probably don't understand. It's like there is a little beef, or there has been. It's probably completely gone now, but between Coach Few and Dana Altman. It started when Fewy was when he first started here, right, at Gonzaga, right? And then when Dana Altman was at Creighton, and he kind of got that thing going, right?
Yep.
Weren't we supposed to play them, or what happened? What was it? Or was it over like Grant?
Oh, Grant Gibbs.
Gibbs, was it over? I know, was it over Recruit or something?
Yes. And I don't remember who, because Grant ended up going there after, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah, that's a good question. We're going to have to dig a little deeper into it. I don't remember exactly what it was.
I think it was over, it was either over a Recruit or, a series that broke down.
Yeah.
And back then the series were harder to get. You couldn't just call and make it like 2 months before. They kind of like, it was more contract based. You know what I mean? Wasn't it? Like it was like you kind of your schedule.
Advance, right?
Your schedule was a little more locked in and harder to process. And so when somebody says, well, I don't want to play you here, and then I think Fewy said, well, I am not going to play on your campus either. And then it gets to be, and then at that time, we were definitely recruiting the same type of kid, right? It was more mid-major, hidden gem, good players, but it wasn't, what we have now.
Yeah.
So there was probably some of that, like, well, you shouldn't go there. Why would you go to that horse shit school, and a little podunk ass gym? And then we're saying the same thing. Why would you go to Omaha? It's fucking freezing, even though it's cold here. You know what I mean? Like, there's no trees or nothing. Like, so I probably just... It got into that, but yeah, so point is, there's always that little beef, and then obviously Oregon being in that top 4 or 5 easily, been down a little bit, but in years past been in the West Coast, powers, and then we played them in Bahamas, was one of the best games I've called in a long time. I mean, it was a terrific game. It was the Joel Ayayi game.
Yep.
And we won in overtime, wasn't it? And that's when they had Peyton Pritchard, that JUCO guard who made it to the league and went for the Pacers, whatever his name was. And then who we have on that team? It was Joel.
That was Ryan Woldridge, Admon Gilder.
Then we had
Drew,
like weird injuries. And then he had to like throw Joel out there, and he balled out that whole tournament, and then he kind of solidified himself as a legitimate starter and player. So that it's just cool that we're playing them again. I think that's kind of needs to happen. It's kind of like UCLA. I bet you UW will get back in that fold again, as far as just non-conference rivalries. Now we'll see after this year, the West Coast Conference going away, how much these type of games. And I'm going to say it now. I hope people don't bitch and complain as much. We are going to a bigger conference, and there is a formula to this thing. And like you said, you can't play top 5 teams every single weekend. It's not how it works. And people get mad when you say it that way. Like, well, challenge yourselves. Like, okay, so then what if you go on a 4-game losing streak and you have 2 guys get hurt? Now you're begging to get in the NCAA tournament. Oh, we sucked. Okay, so then shut your mouth. Right?
Yeah. No, I know. Well, and 2, I think what's going to happen is, going to Utah State's going to be a lot different than going to Malibu.
100%.
Right? So it's, like you said, as you're trying to figure out your schedule, it's kind of like, okay, that's one that's built in already that we don't have to go and seek out, right? And, they're going to be a handful of those, I think, in the new
Boise
conference.
State will be Boise State's good, too, and they'll get it rocking and rolling in there. And then, some of these teams are, you're like, well, I don't know. And then you're like, okay, we're going to have to travel to this.
You're going to have to go to Colorado State, right? You're going to Fort Collins. Okay, when they're rolling, that's a really tough place to go and play.
They've been good the last 2-3 years.
So, that will be interesting to see how Coach continues to handle that, because, you're also trying to balance that, bringing in high-level guys. Okay, we've got to play some, some good ones early on to keep everybody interested. So,
What do you think about, a couple more topics and we'll get out of here. Last year in the WCC, are we going to have some sentimental moments, or are we going to tell everybody to kiss our ass when we leave and hopefully beat them?
So my take, I'm fascinated because I think they're going to be sentimental. Like, for me personally.
Yeah, you've done it longer than me.
I've done it for a long time.
Yeah.
Being older and like having, like, for me personally, just a little sense of, okay, look, if we're not in the WCC, none of this stuff happens, right?
It's
I mean,
true.
I mean, I
1000%.
don't know that it goes on the way that it did, and I think the way that it all built up, I think a lot of, especially the newer fans who, weren't around, like when you were playing and whatever, like. It was hard to go and win road games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'd go. I tell people a story all the time. We get off the bus in Malibu, and we've got people lined up and screaming and yelling at you, and the San Francisco game and going to LMU, and I mean, there were tough games up until probably It's probably been 10 or 11 years since we go into places and people are
crazy.
Just, they've just gotten beaten down so much, and we've you're looking at these like, well, we've won 47 straight in the series. Well, the fans have lost some interest, right? And so. I think
it's crazy. Some of the numbers.
It really is.
Hold on. There's one that's, I think San Francisco hasn't won up here since like 98 or some dumb shit.
Like 88.
80. How was that possible? Anyway,
no, exactly. Right. It's crazy. But I think people see those things, right? And they're like, oh yeah, the WCC. And we outgrown what it has been the last, I want to say last 3 or 4 years, at least gotten better. But there was a stretch there from probably 12 to 19 or 20 where you're kind of like, okay, it wasn't very good.
No. And you always had to defend it, but you were like, I think I kind of get what you guys are saying.
Right. No. And I think, up until that point, I mean, even, that stretch, we lost 3 in a row at San Francisco. They had some good teams, that was at 9, 10, 11, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in that vicinity. So like for me, I look back at it, I'm like, okay, I mean, this league helped build us and helped shape, who Gonzaga is. So, for me, there's some of that. I think what's going to be interesting, I have some frustrations that if these schools all would have started investing money in 2006 instead of 2022, we're getting new arenas and new practice facilities and all the other stuff that maybe it would be a little bit different. But yeah, I'm interested to see how people treat us. Because like for me, like I'm not going to roll into where we're not playing at LMU, like roll into Malibu and be like, can't wait to get out of here. We're actually going to be like, man, it's kind of going to miss this trip to Malibu. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that we're going to go to Portland and be like, oh man, to heck with you guys. I mean, I think.
No. My point is like, obviously there's, playing in some of these small schools are great and small gyms. There's that aspect of it. And it's cool going to, seeing familiar faces, and it's not a huge production. It's more, it feels more old school, but also like, and I've told the story, like the bullshit we deal with in Malibu, like where they don't have fucking internet plug in, they don't have a plug in, and we're behind a camera, literally a camera that's calling, and we're up in the corner, and they're just looking at us like we're idiots, and you're like, no, like this, like we get it, it's radio, we get it. But this pays a lot of fucking bills. We need internet. And they're just like, really?
We need electricity.
We need electricity. Remember, they didn't even have electricity. Didn't have a power thing. So I was like, let's hand crank this fucking broadcast the entire night. Like that shit, I'm not gonna get over.
I agree.
Like some of it, I'm just like, or here's a little thing, and it's gonna sound funny, and I'm going on tangent here. Like at Gonzaga, we provide. There's food for the media. Okay. Whatever it is. Sometimes it's, leftover stuff, but it's like it's prepared right, but it's just like leftover stuff. Okay, great. There's some places where you can't find a candy bar. And we're at the gym for we can't find a bottle of water for 6 hours. And you're just like, go get some hot and readies from Little Caesars. Put 5 of them out there. That's going to cost you what? $30, $50. And then we won't be pissed. I just that little stuff annoys me because it's just like take care of your guests. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not going to miss that bullshit.
No, and what I'm fascinated to see along those lines is how people are going to treat us.
I know, exactly.
Like is it going to be a, thanks for helping us get to the level of, I mean, no disrespect, but I mean, let's look at the Big West. I mean, they don't have a TV deal like the WCC has. We've helped. And ask Randy Bennett.
100%.
Randy Bennett will tell you that our exposure and what we've done has helped him grow that program exponentially, 100%. Right? And you look at some of the other schools too, the opportunity to play games, on TV and on ESPN,
prime time,
and on
ESPN
right?
too.
So,
well, you would never even. But Gonzaga's playing. They're ranked 12th. Let's see how San Francisco. It's a good game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how people react. And I'll give the league some credit. They've gone out. I mean, they tried to get Grand Canyon and that thing. And I think that's still maybe going to be in the courts or something. But they went and got UC San Diego. They're trying to make it work and get things going. So yeah, hopefully it's okay. We're going to hear a little bit, right? But and some of those buildings are going to be 800 fans that are going to be getting after us. So, but that will be interesting, honestly, is to see how people react to us and what kind of crowds we get in the last year. Are the fans that haven't been coming to San Diego for the last 8 or 9 years?
Yeah, they're going to be like, hey, last time to see them.
Is this last time? So
I'm curious too. And obviously, it goes without saying we want to kind of win the league.
Yeah, I think
last year.
Yeah.
We haven't won it the last 2 years regular season, right?
Yeah.
And then
we lost 4 games in league last year.
Yeah. And so we won the tournament, and that was one of our most satisfying wins, I've called. Just beating St. Mary's to obviously solidify getting the NCAA tournament again. But, we want to win this thing, and hopefully our guys understand it. But again, it goes back to so many new faces, like, hey, this matters to us, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so let's win this league, win it outright. And get the heck out of here. But it's going to be weird too, because there is some good familiar faces that you see on the road, and they mean well. It's just a lower
it's
a lower
different
production. Yeah, so sometimes you're just like, and it's not like they're doing it on purpose. You're like, all right, good thing I brought a Nutri-Grain bar in my bag, like, to get me through the fucking thing, like. And then, I always have to go buy food. I just always go buy like a hot dog. And like, again, this is not me being like pompous, but sometimes I have to walk through the crowd, and I'm just, so then I got to answer like 10 questions. I'm like, I got to be on the air in like 40 seconds. And I'm not trying to be an asshole, but also like, I just want a hot dog and a pop to get me through this 4 hours. Type 1 diabetic. There's my excuse. Okay. I got to make sure I get through this thing. But also, I don't want to, like, what do you think the game's going to go tonight? Go watch. I have no idea. Yeah, right. What do you think about the line? Don't give a shit.
No, yeah.
It's like, don't bet on college basketball when the line's 28.
Yeah, right.
That's what I want to say to people. Like, fuck, good luck, man. Flip a coin.
Yep.
Just go play slots. It's more fun. So anyway, great show, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's great coming on, man. To like your new digs.
Yeah,
good spot.
Brendan, the producer's done a good job. We've moved around a couple times, but he's found a nice little spot. It's pretty comfortable and a nice setup in here. And we'll have some good guests. We'll have you on again, probably right before the NCAA tournament, because you kind of help us. Like I said, I coattail a little bit.
We'll have fun. Yeah. We'll do it a little later in the day.
Yeah, we can have a few beers. Yeah. Are you ready for this year? Are you?
I'm getting there, man. You know how it is.
Getting dialed in.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I was just telling somebody with the kids, before, it's like, okay, like it's time to get out of the house. Like I've been around them. Now they're 14 and 12, and they can kind of take care of themselves, and it's not, so it's like, okay. You got to find, that was the easy motivation, but no, I'm looking forward to it, right? Because I think it's funny. You walk into craziness and you're like, okay, right? There's good energy, and you see some of the guys, and obviously excited to see some of these new guys. But great storylines this year, right? With Steele coming back, with Braden and Graham both being here. I think that I'll be fired up when we get rolling.
It should be a great year. And again, what's the stat? We've won 25 games plus with 25 years in a row, or something.
18 years,
or something like that. Something stupid. So. Again, when people ask me around town, I always reference that. I'm like, well, we won 25 games for 20 straight years. Then you see the look on their face. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, we were 26-9 last year. And everybody's close. Like, oh my God, we suck. It's like, no, we don't.
Yeah.
Shut up. But again, with all these new faces, sometimes it's like you just shrug your shoulder and go, just wait a couple weeks until we see them in live action. And we got a couple exhibitions coming up. Didn't we schedule another one or something?
Yeah,
like
we got
that?
One on the 19th.
The 19th,
the 27th, I think.
So that'll be good. And those are always fun to watch, just to, again, see the tentative rotation and all that stuff. But again, it's a grain of salt. But, we kind of hit the ground rolling with Texas Southern, and we've talked about them before. They're kind of sneaky always. Yep. You know what I mean? They've always got usually good players. They play hard. So you're just like, you're going to at least show you what you're made of. And then we start with Oklahoma and Creighton. But like I said, appreciate you coming on. Appreciate our sponsors, McGilvery Environmental, Idaho Central Credit Union, M4 CPA. Tune in next week.